disciples and telling them, "The Son of Man is to be handed over to men, and they will kill him. And 3 days after his death, the Son of Man will rise." But they did not understand what he was saying, and they were afraid to question him. They came to Capernaum, and once inside the house, he began to ask them, "What were you arguing about on the way?" But they remained silent. They had been discussing among themselves on the way who was the greatest. Then he sat down, called the 12, and said to them, "If anyone wishes to be first, he shall be the last of all and the servant of all." Taking a child, he placed it in his midst, and putting his arms around it, he said to them, "Whoever receives one child such as this in my name receives me. And whoever receives me receives not me, but the one who sent me." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. I can't wait to look in the mirror, 'cause I get better looking each day. To know me is to love me. I must be a hell of a man. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble, but I'm doing the best that I can. Some of you may recognize that old song, a 1980 song by Mac Davis. And the story behind that, as I understand it, is he's a struggling country artist trying to make it year after year. And finally, he made it as a headliner. And along with the headliner came all the perks: the big suite, the limousine, the adoring fans. And he realized after all those struggles, right, he was in danger of becoming prideful and a prima donna like some of the people he had seen before him that he had opened for. And so this kind of self-deprecating is, be careful. Right? When things are going your way, don't get too full of yourself. Faith is like that. It can be challenging. It requires us to pay attention to our own motivations even, to be humble, to serve others with charity in all the aspects of our life. In our first reading from Wisdom, the people were not happy that someone had rebuked them as far as how they were living their lives and how they were adoring God. They didn't respond with reflection about, oh, maybe should reconsider how I'm doing things. I should reconsider what I'm doing. No. They attacked the message and the messenger. Because it made them uncomfortable. The word they used was obnoxious to them. The truth was obnoxious to them. When we hear scriptures, we should reflect on what the scripture says and what its meaning is for us. But too often we don't. We question the teaching and the message and even the messenger. We lash out. That can't be right. We see it all the time in the moral teachings of Christ. Rather than reconsider our stance, we attack and question the legitimacy of the teaching, vilify the message and the messenger. The truth is, we either choose to serve the one true God to the extent to which it's been revealed to us, or we're always serving something. Often our egos, our attraction to money, and often our attraction to power and prestige. It's hard. For in our second reading from St. James, he speaks about jealousy and selfish ambition and envy. We often covet other people's lives. Especially you see that in sports figures or entertainers. I want to be like that. I want to have the glitz and the glamour, adoring fans. American Idol. America's Got Talent. We want to live someone else's lives, but if we do so, we will miss out, and I'll miss out in who God made you to be. The gifts that God has given you particularly, the mission He has given to you alone. Not envy someone else's lives, but embrace who God made you to be. You have gifts. For is there anyone greater than the Lord here? Did He not create each of us in His image and His likeness? Is there not only one baptism, one church, one Eucharist, one Jesus who suffered and died for us? Should we not instead be striving to reach the same heavenly goal, the same sainthood, the same Lord? That we're all on the same journey, just in different places maybe. Those who have been on it a long time, who have made way, should mentor those who are just beginning. And those who are beginning should look to those who have maybe made the mistakes and learned and ask them to help. We all seek the Lord in our own way, but there is only really one way to perfection. But the journey must be walked. It must be walked from the beginning to the end. None of us begins in the center. When we do, it changes us. It molds us. It strengthens us. And it makes us more resolute to finish strongly. In the gospel, Jesus is trying to teach His disciples that He is a servant leader. Trying to tell them what will happen. He will suffer. He will die. He will rise again. But they don't listen. They don't understand. And so, what do? They do what most of us do sometimes. They jockey for position, for the hierarchy. Who is the best? Who is the greatest among us? For indeed, they were just, most of them, fishermen a year or so before that. They had no status, and now they were riding on the coattails of Jesus. But being in Jesus' family was not enough. Somebody had to be in the pecking order. Is being in Jesus' family enough for us? Sometimes we can be rightfully proud of our long-time involvement in the ministry, our long-time parish involvement and membership, our great financial support we give, and that can be wonderful. But we have to be careful it does not mark us with pride. We become so rigid, so protective, so unwilling to allow for change. We might even expect some special status or some special veto power. Putting our pride against the charitable love of others, sharing our ministry with others. If we don't, it weakens us all. Claims of privilege was one of the reasons Jesus rebuked the Pharisees. If someone's been doing a ministry for 20 years, it could be laudable, but it could also mean that countless other persons have not had their gifts and talents brought forth or honored. not allowing them room to blossom and grow and enrich our community and feel unwelcomed. Even Jesus allows other ministers in his name. People minister in his holy name, and he guides and he mentors us, and he takes great joy in allowing the gifts of all to be honored and nurtured. Charity demands that we welcome new voices. A welcoming parish encourages us to make room for the gifts of others, even if it means our roles must change. A parent, a coach, a pastor, a Christian rejoices in other people's participation, rejoices in their growth in faith and holiness, rejoices in the children. For children are full of potential and wonder. Little children are constantly being put in our midst. Jesus constantly puts his arms around them. He says to each of us, whoever receives one child such as this in my name receives me. Jesus has opened the door for everyone to enter. Everyone to enter in to be received as if they were indeed Christ among us. Jesus also said, if anyone wishes to be first, he shall be the last of all and the servant of all. We often hear these words as some kind of philosophical suggestion, but they're clearly more than that. They're very practical for our daily world. The implications are great. Here in this parish community, our families in a greater world, we as Christians lift up others above ourselves. For this is his church, the one true church, where his body and blood is offered to us. And he constantly offers to us the role of servant children of the Most High God, part of his royal family, but with humility serves those most in need and raises them up. How blessed and joyful we should be that we have been called, that our eyes have been opened to share Christ with others, to see and welcome all of our sisters and brothers, no matter who they are. Look around. Whose gifts have been aching to be shared? If it's you who wishes to be heard, the door is open. The invitation is made. It's offered to you. If your gifts have been rejected by us, we have not been open to your gifts, we apologize. For this is your home, where all are welcome, along with their gifts. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble, but I'm doing the best that I can. Maybe I am. But maybe I can do better. Maybe we can do better. With the grace of God, the strength of the Holy Eucharist, may we grow in humility, charity, and service. Lord, open our hearts and our arms to embrace your children. For to know him is to love him.